Okay, I apologize for being a little bit late, but in compliance with open law meetings, I just want to let you know that this is being recorded. So don't make any funny faces into the cameras or anything, because the town of Sutton will. All right, my name is Bill Fredericks, I'm the chair of the Sutton Board, and the first thing we need to do is approve the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, well, it's approved. Local upgrades or variances, 27 Carrier Lane.
Good evening.
Hello.
My name's Margaret Bacon. I'm an engineer with Civil Site Engineering, and I'm here requesting several waivers and variances for 27 Carrier Lane for
Okay.
septic repair. I'm sorry, I didn't bring a board with me.
That's okay.
Okay, yeah, sorry, we got a good plan here. That's fine.
Give me a second to control.
I can briefly go over all the waivers and variances.
Okay, sure.
Okay, Stephen Pond, Carrier Lane here. Here's the existing house, and the existing cesspool is right here. And it's a 3-bedroom house. So what we're proposing is a Presby system, but the problem is we're squeezed between the well and then the wetlands. So we're asking a waiver for the well, 45 feet, because I can't make the 100. And then the wetlands, we're asking for 31.3 feet. And then the third waiver, in an effort to keep the system as low as possible, instead of 4 feet to groundwater.
Just 3 foot offset to groundwater? Or 2
Two.
foot? 2 foot?
Now, Presby allows
Yeah.
2 feet, but that's only if you meet all these other criteria. And I don't meet the well criteria, and I don't meet the wetland criteria. So that's why I have to ask for a waiver or variance from that. So it's the 3 variances or upgrades: wetlands, well, and the groundwater.
Have you been to
Groundwater,
Conserv-
you're going to 2 or you're going to 3?
2.
Two.
You're going to 2.
Well, we already have a wall that's 3 feet high, 4 feet high, so
Plastic barrier there,
with a membrane.
membrane, okay.
So, like I said, I there's nowhere else I can put this system
Yep,
that, so we tried to put it equidistant between the well and the wetlands, and obviously everything slopes that way. It's a pretty good steep grade from Carrier Lane all the way down to the pond.
Mm-hmm.
And the Presby system actually gives us the smallest footprint. So it's like you say, we're kind of squeezed, but it's definitely a big improvement over what's there right now.
Right.
you gotta get approval from conservation?
Yes, but I wanted to come here first.
Mhm. Did Jim Alley look at these prints?
That's Jim, that's Jay, approved as noted,
Yeah,
yeah. How big is this lot? There's no other way, there's absolutely no other feasible,
No.
this is maximum feasible compliance, right, even?
That's correct, because it's a real steep,
acres.
right here, and then we have
Oh,
the
it's only half an acre,
then we got the neighbors' wells over there.
you're putting in a new tank,
Yeah, actually new septic tank, pump chamber,
dual compartment on the tank,
correct.
okay. I can't see that far, so I'm
Oh,
asking.
okay, yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's all dual compartment tanks now, and
Yeah,
then, like I say, there's a wall here that's
so this is the pump chamber?
pump chamber, yeah,
Mm-hmm,
because it's a raised system,
Right.
it's about,
right.
How high is the wall, roughly?
the wall's at least 3 feet. Top of wall 481, 481, and we have here
And breakout
yeah,
is-
3 to 4 feet.
So breakout is 40, you got a foot to break out from top of wall, okay.
Right, so that's why we have to put that membrane.
Yeah, okay.
All right, it's been approved. It's good.
We routinely go down to 50 feet. Do we have to do anything special below 50 feet for, does DEP get involved with below 50 feet to what?
No, I don't think so.
I know it's a variance,
But
but-
the DEP bounces it back to the
Yeah.
towns.
Okay, yeah, okay, I
make
think
the
they used to be,
decision.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's our decision,
yeah,
on the,
right.
What's the lowest to have gone before?
Probably in that range,
Okay.
in that range. Yeah, I mean, I know, I think we've been below,
30,
Uh,
35.
yeah, we've been below 50.
Is that
I
for
think
the-
before, I think before they needed us and the state, and then the state
Yeah.
bounced it all back to us.
That's right, the state
Yeah.
doesn't get involved anymore.
Yeah.
No,
Plus with
if
the,
you-
with the downgrade too.
And it
Yeah,
does,
there's so much
because
choice.
if you come right, you can see the water just breaking up, the groundwater, it
Mhm.
does flow this
Right.
way,
Right.
because it
Right.
breaks it right out here, you can see
Okay.
it.
What kind of wall are you putting in, just out of curiosity? Is it like a unilock or was it? Versalock wall,
The
yeah.
Versalock, or sometimes what's nice, works well, and it's more economical, is those big blocks,
Mm-hmm,
you know?
yeah, right. Like a unilock or something.
Right. Yeah, the 3 feet by 2
Right.
feet.
Right. Okay.
Versalocks are nice, but they're a little more pricey, you know, the smaller blocks,
And how high is the wall?
3 to 4 feet.
3 to 4 feet. I
It
think
varies, yeah, just 1 to 2 feet here, but then around the front end, 3 to 4 feet.
Okay.
Then blends right back into to over here.
Any residents here that have comments? Regarding this?
I don't, you don't have to get that wall engineered if it's 4 feet?
Less than 4 feet, we always keep them
Okay,
less than
all right,
4
that's-
or
okay.
less.
Okay.
We good?
Yeah, it looks,
All right.
yeah, Presby's pretty good, very good system.
But
Okay.
they do give you a secondary treatment to Presby, so that's why we can
Yeah.
use those in tight constraints.
I'll make a motion to approve the variances as requested. I think it was a reduction to 45 feet to the well, reduction to 3 foot offset the groundwater. And what was the last one?
Wetlands.
Oh, the wetlands, 30 feet, 31 feet roughly to wetlands?
Yeah, and the
Which-
groundwater is the 2 feet.
The 2 feet, oh, is it 2 feet? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's 45 feet to the well, 2 feet to groundwater, and then roughly 31 feet to wetlands, and that's conditional on the conservation.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna have to,
Well, right.
right, okay, they would, yeah. we've
Yeah,
gotta go, right.
like I said, I wanted to come to this
Right,
one first,
right.
make sure I didn't make many major changes, now we'll go to the Conservation Commission.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll second it.
All right, so moved. No one against it. There's only 3 of us.
Okay, very good, okay. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
When
Yeah.
are you going to conservation? Because this is the Carrier Lane
Yeah, we
project
know.
that you have been anxious about.
Right.
We're gonna put it in right away and then.
Yeah, I just wanted to do this meeting first.
All right, I didn't know if you had already on their agenda.
No, I just wanted to, like I said, make sure I was gonna make any changes to the plan, that's all.
It's a good system.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Now, why was 108, okay, so it's a local upgrade variance 2 is 108 Putnam Hill Road? No?
Let's see, we'll take a look at it, see what it is. I think it's right here.
That's,
What is that one?
something I requested.
It gets to everyone. Is that 108?
Yeah. But no one's here, so we'll just,
This is the one that he wants to keep the tank,
Oh, okay, yeah.
and you hadn't seen the plan.
He wants to
Well,
keep the old septic tank?
Because it's a very large tank, it's like a isn't that the is that what
It
this one
was-
is?
it was like a-
It's
it
a
was a-
3,000 gallon tank?
Wasn't it it was a tight tank, right? And then they converted it.
It was a tight tank that they're converting to a traditional system.
Right.
Correct, right. Well,
And
we.
they wanted to keep the tank, but they didn't have the engineered plans. I don't think you've seen those yet,
No.
although Jim has seen them
Oh,
since then.
Okay, because we requested an engineer evaluate
I don't even
the
see
tank
the
and say it's suitable and all this
Oh,
kind
right
of
here.
stuff, right?
Is that it right there?
ST?
What's it say the size is? No, that's 1,000 gallon tank.
This is a
3,000
3,000
Oh,
gallon
it's safe.
existing.
See, I can't see that far.
You have to get your binoculars.
That's a
3,000.
good sized tank. Why is it so big?
It was a tight tank.
It was a tight tank, and they wanna use the tight tank as a septic tank? It's not a
Yeah, weren't we
common
concerned
tank.
about the drilling of the holes?
We
and
were
the-
concerned about a bunch of stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
We asked that it be evaluated by an engineer and then have Jim Melly oversee whatever the engineers recommended, that this could be done safely and suitably, because we felt like we were no near experts about approving that kind of thing, and I guess this is what they came up with, and I haven't seen it, so, but Jim, have you spoken to Jim about this directly? You see,
I don't remember, to be honest.
I can-
Jim
we-
approved that plan?
he did, it says approved.
It says approved, but I don't see his.
That's Jim, these red,
Oh.
that's
Yeah,
always,
that's
that's
Jim.
Jim, yeah.
Approval. So Jim has reviewed this plan and approved it.
Okay.
You
So they're gonna
requested
drill
to
a
see
hole
the
through this
plan.
tank.
Well, that was the concern we had.
Yeah,
whether or not
because
the-
there's no, seal on that if they drill a hole. This tank's.
So you had requested that the engineer prove that he could do this with a design plan.
Mhm.
So isn't that what that is?
Because the tanks today come with that rubber seal, so when you put the pipe in, you're not gonna have any leakage whatsoever. When you drill a hole, cement it, the cement.
And you needed a letter, for the integrity of the tank, which I think I have a letter in there from, Chase Harris in that
Okay.
file.
I think we had that originally, even. We had a letter, somewhat,
Yeah.
some letter from him stating that the tank had reasonable integrity.
Does it say the age of the tank on there?
It's pretty old.
Yeah,
I
'cause,
think it was 25 years old.
yeah.
We could, I'd be curious to get Jim's opinion on this.
The tank is questionable to me for two reasons, the age and for the fact that they're drilling a hole through it.
Well, would we be informed if during the process of actually doing it, if something did go wrong?
We could have somebody out there, I suppose we could ask Jim to go out and witness them drilling the hole and see how smoothly it goes. We could do something like that, somebody,
All right, but we don't have to make any decision on this, this is just information type thing?
it's,
Technically, you do have to make a
if he,
decision.
well, if he
because
approved, this isn't a variance that is like a local upgrade approval, right?
It is because you have changed your regs to
On the
not
tanks.
allow existing tanks.
Right.
So this is an existing tank that you are allowing. And so you had requested engineered plan,
Mhm.
which you have in front of you. So if you have further questions,
Well, it seems like they've done what we asked them to do, I'd hate to keep going back with more questions on it.
Yeah, I
am
mean,
I
I
just
don't know,
gonna get a statement from Jim?
save it from Jim and have somebody on site when they,
Well, we changed the tanks to two-compartment tank, this isn't a two-compartment tank.
So that's what they're requesting, a variance to that.
Yeah,
yeah, they,
To use this tank.
I don't, maybe you weren't here for that meeting, but the argument was that it was a very large tank, which of course is an improvement, and that the tank it was inspected by Chase Harris via a physical inspection, and I think with fiber optic cameras and stuff, and the tank is in good condition. And removing the tank was a hugely laborious, it was like a huge tree that needed to come out and
Something,
stuff. It was
yeah, tree.
not that it couldn't come out, Diane, but it was,
is there a
a
filter in
remarkable
this?
task to get that tank out
Did
of
they
it.
put a filter in this, yeah, this one.
Is that,
So Diane, your primary concern is the drilling of the holes and making sure that,
And making sure it's sealed properly, because the tanks today come with a rubber gasket on it, so when you put that pipe in, it seals it really tight, and you're not gonna have any problems with any leakage.
do you think it would be appropriate to have somebody out there from the farmer, have Jim? on
is
site?
there an inspection type
Yeah,
of thing
it's
that
gonna
happens
have to
when?
inspect it to make sure
Right.
it's sealed properly with hydraulic cement.
Would you wanna entertain that
Yeah,
motion
I
with the
would, yeah.
caveat of?
Yeah, motion to approve the tank, with a caveat that when the modifications are done to the tank with regard to
Core drilling it.
core drilling it, that a representative from the Board of Health be on hand, either Jim Malley or whoever Jim Malley selects as his duly designated representative to witness. Is that good? Does that work for you guys?
Yeah, and it's sealed properly,
Right.
yeah,
Second it?
yeah, second.
Okay.
Okay,
Alright.
thank you. Next up, 17 Irma Jones Road. You get to be in the front row now.
Great.
Exciting, isn't it?
Hi, I'm Teresa, and I'm the listing agent of 17 Irma Jones. This is my son Ron, he's a homeowner. And we're trying to get this Title V passed so he can sell his property. And we have a copy of it, but it does say that we need local approving authority.
Right.
And we do have the water results. It's right here.
Okay.
Um,
Here, it says that the system passes if the well water analysis performed by DEP certified laboratory of fecal coliform bacteria indicates absence in the presence of ammonia, nitrogen, and nitrate. Nitrogen is equal or less than 5 ppm, provide that no other failure criteria are triggered. A copy of the analysis must be attached to the form, which is this.
yes.
Okay, and we have gotten all that to pass. So,
Yeah, the initially it failed, and then the secondary test passed, right?
okay,
The first one was taken outside,
Right, okay.
yeah.
so
Um,
we did a retest.
Okay.
All right, is this, was this in here, this test? Or
No, no, we
No,
just.
not the
Yeah,
water
we just
results,
left
I
that.
didn't
Can I have that? Is that?
Sure.
Okay,
Yep, that's your fine.
because we can attach it to this.
But it still doesn't say, will you pass it?
Yeah, well, this is the conversation we had, right? We're not Title V inspectors. right?
Mhm.
But my understanding is that we don't have the authority
No, we don't.
to change a Title V
Right.
inspection. As far as, so you've gotten it to pass. Now, if you wanted to get a Mr. I think Jeff Helgerson did this test, get him to change, we don't do Title V inspections, right? We don't have the authority to change this
Mhm.
form, has been my experience.
Right, we're not
Now you
licensed.
meet all the criteria, so that's great. So as far as we're concerned, it's a passing Title V, but we can't, we can't change anything on these, we can attach this to it, but we can't change anything on the Title V form. We don't have the authority to, we're not a Title V inspector.
Right, I'm representing the buyer. Last time I had this happen was in the town of Leicester. We had the water quality test come back. The Board of Health issued a letter stating the water quality test came back below the standards, and that was attached to Title V.
Would you be okay signing this letter? I have a letter. It says
Um,
the same thing, just in a letter form, so you
It's
can
only because a
attach it.
lender will not
Yes.
accept just that, water quality, because they're not experts in reading the water quality results. So they're depending on the Board of Health to say, yep, they passed the quality test, and attaching that to the Title V.
You could probably get the lab to certify that the water is potable.
But it's up to a town, the Board of Health for the town
This
to
is
say,
right
yes,
on there,
it's
local.
fine.
That's,
That's the only way I've ever done it in other towns.
I've talked to other towns and I've talked to several Title V
Who did the
inspectors,
Title V? Who's the inspector?
Jeff Helgerson.
Well, why can't he just sign?
including Kenny. I did call Kenny
Oh, you did call
about
Kenny
this.
on this?
I called Kenny about this. He said it's an automatic pass with the water results attached. You just attach the water results, and it's an automatic, as you read as part of the report. It's that's part of
Right.
it you just read.
Right, I don't see why you'd need anything more than this.
would you be okay signing this? It's the same thing.
I'm not okay signing anything, but that's, I'm a Boston guy, so.
Do you
Yeah,
wanna read it or no? It's just the same thing that
well-
you,
Yeah, okay.
Only because it's not something that we prepared, and again, I know what you're saying, but I don't see the need.
I mean, if it's a bank thing, I mean, it seems like the bank would be knowledgeable enough to know. I mean,
No,
these
they're
things,
not
these things, well, they,
always.
I mean, they,
Not at
well,
all.
but
They're not
once
gonna-
we can't change,
They're not asking you to change the Title V, they're asking for a letter stating
Which
the
is-
water quality tests, you've viewed them, and they're within the limits.
that's exactly what it is.
The lab would do that. The lab would say that.
The lab,
Would the lab
report,
write a
it's-
letter saying that?
They will.
Yeah, they're the ones that,
I
not
mean,
us.
The only thing I would feel
local
comfortable
authorities.
signing is that we've viewed it. And,
I mean,
That's what that is.
right,
that's
but
what
I
that
don't-
letter is. It's the same thing. It's just stating
I don't understand why the
And
bank.
we can't sign, I mean, who come up with the town of Sutton Board of
Well,
Health?
you know, we can't sign, if it's not on our official letterhead and
Well,
stuff, we can't.
can we get a letter?
I don't,
Cause he's not gonna be able to
I don't
sell
know.
his property because the lender's not gonna accept that, it didn't pass. What are we supposed to do?
The well testing company should be able to give you a letter saying that it meets all the qualification and it passes,
But what
did
it
they?
says in
I've
Title
spoke to
V
him.
says that your water quality test has to be shown to, given to the Board of Health. So you're
Says-
saying, they're
It-
just asking you to acknowledge
Can I
you've
see
seen it,
this?
it's within the limits.
Well, it would be,
That's
we
what
could,
they're
we
asking.
could acknowledge this in the minutes, you know,
Well,
of
that's what they're
of
just
the
saying, a
meeting.
simple letter stating you viewed it, it's within the limits.
I wouldn't have a problem with getting a copy of this and signing that. I can't do
I don't understand why the
this.
bank needs anything further other than the passing. The local approving authority, you could make very strong cases, you know, the Title V inspector, I mean, they do the reports and they approve this stuff, you know, we don't.
And the
No,
Title
it's
V company is telling,
you,
passing it
it's-
on to you
yeah.
guys. So,
Did you see that part that he read on the actual report? If you show that to the bank, it says right on there, attached water results make this a pass.
Right.
But the front says it
It
needs
says
further
local
than-
approving authority, that's the hang, that's what the
That's
bank
the-
is looking at.
yeah. That's what it's not,
That's what the bank is.
I can't do something that's been generated outside of the town of Sutton Board of Health.
could you write just a letter?
I don't really have a problem with that.
It's been our policy not to write letters, so we're not hung up with these types of requests all the time.
Okay.
So what are we supposed to do then?
Because
He can't sell his house.
No, I mean, I
we
think
just
that
haven't figured out how we can do it. but
Okay.
There's
Right,
only
I
so
mean-
much we can do as a board.
there are other people along this
Jeff
whole
Helgeson
way.
can't redo the Title V report?
No,
Cause he
it's-
has the water results now.
I know, but he's saying it's up to Board of Health now. Everyone's, that's just it, everyone's
Right.
going back and forth, and
Right, yeah,
they're stuck in the
right,
middle.
now, we've been, yeah,
Jim also said no.
So
Okay.
if they do another Title V inspection, it should pass.
you
Right?
should be able to fill out just another
Right.
report, I mean, it already has everything now, then you just don't have this box checked,
Right,
passes,
because
and you're
they're
done.
licensed to do
That would probably be the slickest.
So I gotta spend another $700 to get this to pass?
I don't think, Mr.
I don't think they charge you
We've
that.
already done
I already
2
did
water
once.
tests
Yeah.
and it's holding up the
Yeah, I think the bank is where,
The bank doesn't read
I
every
think that's the
page,
part that's
yeah.
not being reasonable about it. I mean, it clearly needs further evaluation, local. And then it says this, and so you aren't complying with that, but you are complying with this. And this is the most important one. But to have us sign off on that, I didn't know that our policy was not to do
No.
letters. I apologize for that.
Well, he bought the house 2.5 years ago and this wasn't a problem because of
Yeah.
the measurement. The well was put in after his septic. It
Yeah,
shouldn't
so I
even,
have a question on that too, for the future buyer. The well that's now in number 15 was put in after the septic system. They were supposed to be over 100 feet according to the plan, but they are not within, they are closer, they came to 87 feet.
Oh,
For
really?
the septic system, but they never got a special permit variance or anything on number 17.
How long ago was this well?
So if you were going to do anything about that
We
whole
will-
thing?
yeah,
I
well,
asked
with- yeah.
Jim Malley about that, he said it would be a civil matter with that engineer, which I don't even
We-
think, is that in?
How long ago was this well drilled?
Less than 3 years ago?
It was about that time frame. We've had issues about this before, so that's why we came up with this whole well plan thing. Is because when the smaller lots, people drill wells in a place that's not advantageous to somebody when they want to, when your next door neighbor wants to put in a septic system and the well restricts them. And that's why we have, it has to be done by, it's either a civil engineer, who has to do the well plan? It's either, I think either a sanitarian or a PE. So the point I'm trying to make is, we make every effort to make sure that doesn't happen. And we make every.
The plan that was approved approved had the well, the new well,
Right.
over 100 feet.
Well, we
So
ass-
the homeowners put it closer.
then it's a civil matter with them, because we assume that people, when there's an engineer plan, and the well driller is out there with his truck, and they have the surveyor, say where the well's gonna go, we assume people are gonna do it right. I mean, we don't go start out there with the surveyor, the Board of Health doesn't go out and measure everybody's well to make sure they're drilling in the right place. You know, that's a civil matter, because the well driller, somebody didn't conform with the approved plan that we approved, someone didn't do it. Either the surveyor didn't put the stake in the right place, the well driller didn't drill, didn't put the truck, the plan that we approved would have prevented this problem. So, and we don't go out, we don't have the manpower to go out and
But I
check every well.
understand, but now that the town knows that the person put the well in the wrong place and didn't get the proper permits for making it closer to the septic system that need be, that town doesn't care about that?
It's not a caring issue.
No, but I'm saying to do something or making them get that variance or doing something. I mean, I guess anyone can then say, I'm gonna put my well further than 100 feet and then put it closer.
Right, we don't run into that a lot, most of the people that do these things are professionals, but as you say, that things can happen. I don't know who, as I say, we don't go out after the fact. We approve what's put in front of us with the understanding that these guys are professionals and they're supposed to do what we ask them to do. And when they don't, we don't even, that's the first we've heard of that, I've heard of it.
Yeah, I haven't heard of it before either,
But that's why we have this problem, because it's less than 100 feet away.
What should have happened here, the more I looked at it, should have been conditionally passes, and then the condition should have been upon
Right.
the test.
Right.
Instead, he checked this box. So can you talk to him about that? Is there any leeway? I don't want you to incur any more expenses, obviously.
Right.
And
I don't know what else to do. This has been going on for a month. That's why we're here. And you're saying it doesn't happen too often. You don't normally write letters, but something's gotta be done. It's not fair that he's gonna have to pay even more. We already had to put the 2 water tests. That, it's not
Yeah,
even
I understand. I mean,
water well.
we've
Or our
had.
fault, so.
We've had many discussions on the board, we don't wanna overburden the people that are involved in this, the young people like yourself, and you, we don't wanna get in the way, that's not our job. But there's only a certain amount of things we can do. I would love to have seen this conditionally passed upon and I don't know why this needs further evaluation by local, because it doesn't even say approval, it says further evaluation. Okay, we evaluated it. What's that mean?
So then
Well,
maybe,
that's just it, that's
That's why
why
we're
the bank's
saying-
not gonna accept that, cause it's not even a conditional approval, subject to a water quality
Right,
test.
that's what it should be.
So-
that's why we're
I think
asking.
you gotta go back to the guy that did the Title V, and he's gotta redo it again. Because I don't think we have the authority to do anything with that. We're not licensed to do that. We review them, they get submitted to us,
But we're just asking for a letter, really. We're not asking.
but we don't have, I don't
Just
think
something
we.
that says that you reviewed it, you can't go just by word of mouth to the bank
Well,
and say.
it's on tape, it's on TV, it'll be in our minutes. You can request a copy of the minutes within, I think, 30 days, or is it? 30
That's what you want me
30
to tell the bank?
If they, again, you could, this is on record that we've reviewed it.
We saw
you
the
know?
test came back,
We
but
saw the test came back, and we're saying it on camera that the tests have come back within the range that you need to be in order for it to go forward.
It seems like Mr. Helgeson could just
Right.
rip out a new report now with this,
Yeah.
either check passes or conditionally passes,
Do
pending
we
the new.
know him at all?
I know Kenny surely does, right? Kenny
Jim
might be,
knows him.
Jim knows him, I
All the
don't know him, I know he has
information's the same.
he's a reputable,
Yeah, he's not
he's a
gonna
reputable
change
guy.
it.
It might be as easy as a phone call to him, and then, he can, look at the minutes and know that, or call.
Who's the bank?
Yeah, for-
Yeah, no savings.
Do we know anybody down there?
Mhm.
I don't, you do?
Mhm.
Wonder if we could,
Who did you talk about Millbury Savings Bank?
I was dealing with Emiliano Banco, his name is,
Oh, jeez.
Kelly Boyd.
But I think you still need something for his sake, a true passing Title V.
Right,
That's,
yeah.
right now, is just not,
Right, this is the
That's
problem
what.
here, it's not,
yeah.
And the bank doesn't understand that.
No, all they care about is the paperwork.
Yeah.
I would say this is the best way to go, is to look at it and say, look, this was ambiguous because it says just review and evaluation. We've got the Board of Health reviewing it.
You go to the location on 146? Is that the bank you went to?
No,
No,
it's
Milner
not.
Savings Bank's in Center
It's
Millbury.
Center.
Center.
Well, they have two locations.
No, they have.
Yeah, it's the
no,
way
it's
it's
not.
One in
I mean,
downtown Millbury,
downtown,
Kevin
yes.
Higginbottom.
Our hands are tied on that. We gotta go back to him. And if the bank wants to call us, then we'll be, we can go over the conversation that we had. That this should have been a conditionally passed and that you meet the conditions. There was only one condition that you had to meet,
Right.
and you met it. So I don't understand why that wasn't put in there. And of course, I can't change that. Let us know if we can help at all, if the bank wants to talk, or whatever, if they,
How do I get in touch with someone, because it's been very difficult to reach anyone, that's why we're here. I know we spoke to Judy, but
You do have that other letter that was already written to 15 Irma Jones requesting the water test and stating if they didn't get back to us, it would be considered a pass.
But they did get back to
But they
us.
did get
Yeah.
back.
We did get the
So,
water.
I mean, that letter is attached to that as well.
They're just gonna look at
this is yours.
I
can
actually
keep it,
need
'cause she
that.
needs
it. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, you do?
I need to
Okay.
stamp that in.
All right.
Okay.
I'm
But
sorry
even
about
if
that.
this bank, even if they don't keep it in-house and they go to the secondary market, and they have to give that to the secondary market is not gonna accept that Title V.
That's why it should have been
Well,
conditioned.
that's
Right.
why you need to change the Title V,
Yeah,
and we can't,
I mean, that's the whole thing, it's
And
not
I don't-
if they
I-
kept it in-house as a portfolio account, it's if they go to the secondary market, they can't sell that.
Right, but we didn't write this.
No, what I'm saying,
Yeah.
you can see where the,
Yeah.
you know.
that's why it's so
number
important to
one
get that form
thing.
changed.
It's a
to
simple,
passes.
the thing that makes me crazy is that this should just go right through, because you've done what you're supposed to do.
Right, and there's
So I
really
get
nothing
it.
wrong with the system, it's just a big 2-week tie-up.
Right,
over.
I get it. It's frustrating. Frustrating for us too, I mean, because this should be a very simple fix. And the way that they word things on these is kind of screwing it up.
Okay, thank you.
I hate that.
Welcome to the chairman's seat.
Huh?
Welcome to the chairman's seat.
Yeah. Now you feel bad, I mean, it's
I
like.
know, it's horrible, I know,
Well,
I know
the
you
banks.
do. Not much we can do about it.
Sends it out, they're gonna look at
And
that.
the banks
The
are
bank
just,
giving them a mortgage.
I think
If you could just get Helgerson to change that front page and just
That's
put
right.
passes or conditional passes
I
and
think they should at
attach
least
the
try to do
paperwork,
that.
he's
We have to
done.
do it.
Should be able to do it tomorrow morning. I don't think
Absolutely.
Jeff would do that for nothing, right?
Absolutely.
could we,
Can we skip on to something that's not on the agenda to this gentleman?
absolutely.
Sure.
Come on up.
Come on, I hope this is easier.
I'll just,
It's not on the agenda?
It's not on the agenda,
Okay.
but it was a request for you, from him to get a deed restriction. And, he wanted the board to look at the deed restriction.
Well, yeah, I have a few questions on the whole thing. I brought in things so you guys can see the house that I'm currently building at 5 Sunrise Drive. Do you guys want that?
Yeah,
sure, yeah.
Whereabouts is that?
That's on Ramshorn Road off
Okay.
of Griggs.
This is the one, I met you, right? We were up
Yes.
there, okay,
Yep.
yeah, with,
It's an existing
Right.
2-bedroom. It has the sizes of each floor on there. We've already kind of remodeled some of the rooms down here to meet Title V law. And now I'm asking, do I need to do a deed restriction, number 1, on this?
No, how many bedrooms do we have?
It's a 2-bedroom. It was an existing 2-bedroom. It's getting rebuilt as a 2-bedroom.
All right, so you got 1 and 2. That's this floor here, right?
No, that's actually the second floor. The first floor is up on this one.
Oh, okay.
So
where's the
ground
basement?
floor, sorry.
Where's the
The
basement?
basement's just here.
We don't have any problem with this being an office, do we?
Looks like it's got a big enough opening, cased opening.
Okay, right.
Cased
Well,
opening.
we modified that to,
Yeah.
to be over 6 feet, I believe. Or 8 feet.
Why is this coming in front of us again? This is a two-bedroom,
You requested a deed restriction
and the
previously.
and the deed restriction was
You need a
requested.
two-bedroom deed restriction previously requested. He was, well, he told me that he wanted the board to look at the wording of the deed restriction to make
Yeah,
sure it
yeah,
was
well-
okay. So I don't know why he's.
Was a septic done and a deed restriction
He
requested?
did this, opposite. He did the,
My septic failed, it was kind of bubbling up, and it
That's
was down by the
failure.
water.
Mm-hmm.
So I just immediately went out and fixed the system. I wasn't really planning on the new house. I did it because I was by the water and my system failed.
You put a new septic in,
Yes.
a repaired septic? And
And
We
this-
it's-
repaired the entire
and the
system.
repaired septic was for 2 bedrooms?
2 bedrooms, and then the lot size also is over 20,000 square feet, so the lot meets the 2-bedroom requirement. So it's just a rebuild now, but before I gave you the deed restriction stuff, I'd like to know, do I need to do it? That's what the law firm said to me when I went and talked with them about a deed restriction.
What is our baseline for requiring deed restrictions? I mean, what,
I have no idea, but you required it for this.
What was this, the size of the house and the size of the
The
septic?
septic was for
Yeah.
two-bedroom.
This is a two-bedroom
deed
septic.
restri-
2-bedroom,
Right.
2-bedroom.
was it
So-
a repair to an old septic, or was it a new septic system?
It was
Repair.
repaired to the old because it was an existing house, right?
an
But
existing
what did
house.
the repair consist of, just out of curiosity?
2 tanks and a massive pump-up system to the top of the hill.
And there was a new leach field installed and all that kind of
Yes.
stuff? Okay, so it's a new system.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
It's a
then
repair,
that
but
would
it's-
have
I believe the
requested.
file is
Well, what's
there.
Deed
on the deed,
restriction.
what's on the deed now?
There's nothing on the deed.
Well, that deed restriction was supposed to go on when the septic was done.
All right, at the time the septic was done, we didn't know he was putting in a new house, it was an existing
Oh, okay.
house.
I
The
see.
new he did it opposite. Normally, we get plans and it says house to be raised, proposed new house, and that's when you would request it, but he wasn't, we didn't know he was putting in a new house at that time,
But
okay?
usually when we do 2 bedrooms, we request the deed restriction, even if he's not gonna put a new house in because of the size of the lot and the size of the existing house. Because normally your septic system would be a 3-bedroom septic system instead of a 2-bedroom, and the 2-bedroom requires a deed restriction.
I thought you only did it when they're
No.
doing something to the house.
And they must have
No.
not been able to get a 3-bedroom in. You have to put a 3-bedroom system in it if you can get a 3-bedroom system.
That's
in.
right. If you can't, then it's a 2-bedroom septic system and with a deed restriction.
Where is it? Can you look at the file? The file is there, I believe, it should be the next one in the file.
Sorry.
Is that it?
No, that's 17 on the June.
Or,
You touching
I
this?
don't know. Deed restriction, here it is. Let's see.
I didn't know we had this.
This was April 8th, this was a long time ago. Okay, this was after the site visit I made, counting bedrooms. Deed restriction. After a site visit by John Silver, it's determined that the current home is a 2-bedroom and a 2-bedroom deed restriction is needed.
Yeah, and that should have been put on when the septic was done.
Please find the attached new house plans and advise your comments. Office town says it's potentially a question of 3rd bedroom, question mark, but there's, it's just open.
Yeah, it was opened enough.
So yeah, we typically do deed restrictions for
we
2
do.
bedrooms, right? Yeah.
All right, so we
So,
are
okay,
gonna
so-
require it,
Yeah.
Okay.
but now you want us to look at what the language
Yeah,
is on it?
well, we
Can I
were
see
able
that
to
plan?
find one online, but the lawyer also can draw up one that just very easily states that the premise is from here on out a 2-bedroom. Is that all right, or is,
Yeah, that's the way we've always had it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, well, I
it can
think,
just be a line or two saying that
yeah,
I'll use it as a 2-bedroom in the future?
Right.
it can only, the house
You can only sell it as such too.
Okay.
House can never be any more than 2 bedrooms. that's the
Septic
thing.
won't take a 3-bedroom system.
Yeah.
You'll,
It
that
should be
new
the Title
septic will
V
fail.
definition
Yeah.
of a two-bedroom, should it not? Because a bedroom to Title V is different than,
Assessors.
it's just a
Right.
bedroom.
Right, right.
It's the definition of a bedroom as per Title V.
Yeah, you could have your attorney, in the statement say, house must, currently a 2-bedroom and must, stay a 2-bedroom, home. And you make some kind of comment in there about it being per Title V bedroom description or something like that, cause we count bedrooms, that's why I went out to your house,
Lot
cause the
size
assessors
isn't gonna allow it
count
to go
bedrooms
through
different than
bedrooms.
us.
Yep.
So that's why, and it usually works in favor of the homeowner, which it did with you,
Yep.
actually.
Yeah, this is, Diane was saying,
So-
that nowhere along the line is it gonna be approved for any more anyway.
No,
No, so it's
Yeah.
too small.
yeah, well, that's
Okay.
good.
A question on that plan, while you still have it. That office, is that a requirement to have that opening? Because originally we did have a door we wanted to keep on the office, just to have privacy in there.
It could be
Is that
considered a
something that-
bedroom.
It could be
That-
considered
That's
a
the
bedroom
problem with
if
it.
you
Okay.
did that.
That's why the big entrance.
Okay, so even if it's deed restricted, we still need to have a,
Correct.
okay.
Yeah, because,
We've
I-
had plans come in front of us with sewing rooms, gym rooms, everything, and they call everything a room.
painting room,
And,
hobby room,
yeah,
yeah.
they're bedrooms. And they will define it as such if they don't see that.
Yeah, if it's over, I think it's 70 square feet, 7-foot, 3-foot ceiling for existing construction, or 6'9" or 7'3" for new, 6'9" ceiling height for existing, heat, window, and can't afford privacy, it's about, that's
Okay.
why we have,
No privacy.
no privacy.
No privacy for you in the office.
No privacy.
We are.
So, the wording just needs to reasonably state that it's a 2-bedroom, maybe address Title V.
Title V
That's
bedroom
okay.
description, have it
Yeah.
2-bedroom title, 2 bedrooms per Title V, bedroom, requirements or bedroom, what do we call that?
Yeah, most of
What would we
them
call it? The
write
attorney
it
should be
down.
able to help you with it.
Yeah, most of
Okay,
them know how to
just
write
a
that
reasonable
down.
wording will work for you
Yeah.
guys.
Right, is that good?
Yeah.
There's a standard form online
Yeah.
for Title V deed restrictions for the
Yeah.
bedroom count.
Yeah,
I did
we were
get
able to
that.
find this, and there's a lot to it, but,
Should be just a simple.
Yeah, and
It
it's,
just doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
register it with the registry of deeds, that's all.
yeah, they was telling me they can e-file it
Yeah.
and from the law firm.
Yeah, that's what they do, yeah.
Yeah, this looks good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
All right, good luck.
thank you.
thanks.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right, now, this was the one we just looked at, right? Oh, it's, 78 Dudley Road,
Dudley Road, that one we.
one fail, one pass.
You had requested the, Charlie Cupfer Title V report to see how he determined the pass, so we have that now. Cause initially you got a fail from one Title V inspector, and then
Shirley went out and,
Charlie did it and said it was a pass,
what,
but you didn't have that in front of you,
What
you just
what was the
submitted that.
difference? That's right, too, we didn't wanna know why one did
Pass
one
and one
with the
didn't.
other.
Why-
and
why did-
Then
yeah.
which one to go with?
exactly.
Well, what, this was done,
August 9th,
no,
That's
Oh.
July.
and when was the other one done?
2017, January.
What did it fail for?
She didn't highlight it, huh?
No. Let's see if there's anything.
System
Uh,
failure criteria analysis.
Summary
is it? Is there?
B.
Plan review, site exam, sewer check, so must be on the, maybe it's on the front page. I don't know where they.
Inspection summary D, system failure criteria applicable to all systems completed.
Yeah, it
So
should
is
say
that-
whether it's groundwater or
Should say something.
a leak or something.
Water and sewer all permits. Does this drawing mean anything?
Is it right on the
That
front?
just shows where everything
Right.
is, that's all.
It doesn't,
It doesn't.
Let me just see this one, just see if I can figure out where they put the flag.
It's the cesspool.
System plan. System, it should be on the system conditionally.
The cesspool's below ground, the system's below, groundwater.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
below groundwater. If it's below groundwater, it fails.
So that one, the initial one was below groundwater, and this one, he's saying, and Charlie comes
You
from saying.
can't have a system below groundwater, then a month later, or a year later, it's above groundwater.
Well, I don't know, I guess.
You can't have that. You can't, the system doesn't move up and down.
I believe that
Yeah, I know.
is there something about he took that information from the file with the, plan done by Mike Burke for Butter property for,
Yeah, but that doesn't have anything to do with this system here, because you can have,
I think he took information from that,
Who
because I
did?
think the Title V inspector.
which one? The one that
The
failed?
first, the one that failed it.
He took groundwater elevation
Can I see
from.
that one?
from 1980,
From,
87?
from the abutting property. I think he said he took it from 78, but he really took it from, is that 80 and from 100?
78.
Can Title V inspectors use abutting properties to determine groundwater? I've never heard of that.
They come in and look at those, yeah.
But isn't it an evaluation of that?
Well, the only way to know is to do a test, to find out whether it's in the groundwater or not in the groundwater. You can't be questionable. So if they do a whole test, they can tell whether it's in the groundwater or not. It's not up to us to determine, because you got two people, one saying one and one saying another. That would be my suggestion.
What was she saying? To do a third?
Get somebody out there with a backhoe to dig a hole and
Just
find out
dig a
what
hole and
groundwater-
find out what exactly the groundwater is at, then they'll know whether the system's in the groundwater or not. We can't determine it from these two reports, that's the only way it's gonna be determined.
Didn't we say something about a third report?
Didn't
This
one have a
the only-
tiebreaker or something?
No,
Yeah.
that's the reason it failed, is because it's, one's saying it's in the groundwater, the other one's saying it's not. Well, we need to determine where it is.
I would agree.
And it's, you know,
So we,
it's only a couple $100 to determine where that is.
Motion?
Motion to, I guess we'll not accept either one of these and, or pending further review, I
Do a
guess,
perk
and have
test,
them,
find out where the groundwater is.
or at least have a soil analysis done by a, do we want by a certified soil scientist or by a Title V inspector?
No, you just have to have, somebody there with a backhoe digging a hole and Jim Malley and they determine where the groundwater is. It's very simple.
We'll have that done. I don't know if it needs to be a motion or not, just send them a letter. Can you take a motion on that? You need a motion to it?
Why is this in front of us anyways? Because they want us to determine which one passes and which one doesn't?
They wanted to know what the next step should be.
The next step is do a perk test, find out where the groundwater level is.
A perk test or just do a deep, well, just look at the soil?
Right, it's just.
Soil analysis.
It's a perk test. They go down and they dig a hole and they figure out where the water.
I know, but do you ask them to actually put water in there and measure
No,
the
no,
perk
no, no,
rate?
they just
Or
dig down. They just
there,
dig
so
down and
soil-
they can see where the water
just-
level
Okay,
is.
just evaluate the soil, not a
Yeah.
perk test. Okay,
It's
just evaluate.
it's-
We're just looking at the soil
So-
modeling. You're
so
looking, trying to
like
determine
with
soil
Jim-
modeling. Is that what you're trying?
Right.
I mean, we have a fee for a perk test.
That's right,
I mean,
they
what
have
is the cost for, is it less costly to just have a third person come out and do a Title V?
No, they need to find out where the groundwater, because it's so questionable. System's either in the groundwater or it's not in the groundwater. So let's determine where it's at. How much is it for the test, for the town?
$250 for a
Yeah.
perk test, but
Yeah.
I don't know what the
Let's
person
go.
digging and
Couple $100 to have a backhoe there for a
Let's-
half hour.
that's $450. How much is the Title V report?
7?
Let's,
Yeah, that's the only way it's gonna be determined. We can't do it. Do we agree, guys?
I'm on board.
Yeah, I think that's
Okay.
reasonable. As long as it's not the whole perk test and all that, it's just the,
No,
so
it's
to
just-
determine where soil modeling
Right,
is.
they
determine
dig a hole and they look okay, we know where it is, and,
where soil modeling is relative
Right,
to the existing
right.
system.
right.
I got Irma Jones twice.
Okay, remember
Are these just the old ones? Oh, here's the 15. Do we even wanna get into that?
15, no. Which one is that?
The about 15, Irma Jones, the one with the well?
Oh, no, probably not. Well, yeah, that's a good point. I mean,
Do we have,
obviously they didn't,
when we become aware of something like that, do we have any,
Yeah, we do, they can move the well.
yeah, I mean, I think once we're aware of it,
Yeah, they
it's
can
like
move
somebody,
the-
if somebody built
but
their
that's just someone
septic.
telling us that.
Who knows, exactly.
So-
Now, who knows?
I think if they brought up if they had someone officially go
Well,
out.
how did they determine?
Because Jeff Helgeson went out and measured, and that's why he was requiring the water test, because it was less than 100 feet.
So Jeff Helgerson isn't in it, he's not doing it with the transits and all this. My guess is Jeff Helgerson is probably wrong, and not intentionally, but he's probably off by 13, because he's out there with the, tape. I mean, the people that lay out the well plan, they're out there with transits and all this other stuff. I mean, they're accurate.
They're out there with the tape.
Yeah,
They're also out there with the tape.
with the tape, but when the well plans are quite accurate, far more accurate than the Title V inspection, I think. So I don't know, that's a good point, once we know of a.
Well, I wouldn't do it on hearsay anyways. I mean, if someone came out and filed a complaint and they went out and measured and then wanted to bring some sort of civil charge or whatever, then
They
you'd have
drilled a
something
new well on
formal in
this
front of
one,
you.
cause there's an existing well abutters is 64 feet. Now, what are they talking about on the well? They talking about the homeowner's well or the abutter's well? What's she talking about?
She was talking about,
The homeowner's well?
Are you looking at 15 Irma Jones? Which one are you looking at?
I hope it's 15.
Yeah. I believe it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it was 80, she said it was supposed to be 100 and it was 87 feet.
the abutters is 64 feet.
Are you looking to their,
I'm looking for their well.
To what?
It's
To
there.
their septic?
Yeah, I don't see it on here.
Well, that wasn't,
She says they put a well in and it was within 100 feet of this septic, and it should have been 100 feet.
it was 87 feet, she said.
Yeah, no, I don't know where she's getting that from.
I'm not
Well,
gonna
that's
get
not
into
showing that on
anyways.
that, that's the distance to there. Is there a well plan in there?
Well, it's showing wells.
When was this done? Is this a septic or a well plan?
2004.
That was before we required. That was done before well plans, but it's been a while since we required well
that's
plans.
2004?
This was 2004.
We've got nothing to do with this anyway, so I don't wanna really spend
Okay.
any more time on it.
Sounds good.
I have review Jim Malley local upgrade approvals.
There aren't any, so I should say none.
Department update.
Cheryl just wanted everyone to know that Steve vaccine has, so she's starting to schedule her food plans.
What are they expecting this year?
I have no idea.
Did that restaurant on 146 open?
It did.
Oh, man,
It did?
I'm hearing
Have you
good
eaten
things.
Oh, really?
No, I'm hearing real good things.
Oh.
really?
You gotta check out the menu, and it's all, scratch.
Oh, really?
Scratch food, yeah, I mean, that'd be glorious to have any restaurant around that does that. But it seems like a good menu.
Alright, cool, let's check it out.
All right, so we, no old news other than follow up with well regulations. What are we supposed to do on that?
Yeah, I couldn't, well, the well regulations, I did make calls about, nuisances to various towns. And, Auburn Grafton, I figured I could use a resource for Millbury and Douglas. Well, this whole fine thing we've been talking about.
Right.
And really, the only place that I could come up with is Douglas. They're between $10 a day and $500 a day, depending on how aggressive the board wants to be for nuisances. The other towns were very much like us, where they haven't had, they've generally got people to comply. except for a couple times, once or twice, when they would have wished they kinda had a fine. It was very similar to our story, you know. And what does Millbury do? And I figured I'd ask you since you're there.
In regards to a,
Let's say similar, like, say the guinea hen thing was in Millbury.
well, for a nuisance, they would they have a fine schedule. Do they have a fine schedule? No, they don't have a fine schedule for nuisances.
They don't have a fine schedule for nuisance either. So I don't know, I think it'd still be a good thing to have in our toolbox, but, you know, I called, you know, 4 or 5 neighboring towns, and Douglas did have a fine schedule in place, but it was very, it wasn't like it was $50 a day for the first week, and that escalated. It was $10 to $500 a day, depending on how cranked up they were. So anyway, so I did a little research on that. That's the well reg thing. We're just, I think Jim, Bill, we talked about leaving that till fall, till when Jim's not so busy, because Jim is the person who ultimately
Right.
has to approve them. The same thing with the supplemental Title V. Right. Because Jim is the guy who's,
Fine schedule, we're gonna table.
for now, yeah, just deliveries here, or however you want it.
Well, I think, you know, if you've only got one town, and if you can count the amount of times that we would have used that in the past 10 years, you know, I don't know if it's worth, yeah, I know what you mean about keeping it, having something in the toolbox, but, and it seems awful arbitrary too. I mean, what constitutes, like, what level of nuisance and,
agree.
or non-compliance, or,
I agree.
so I don't know if we're setting ourselves up on that, so we can table that for a while. Is that in the same as the nuisance implementation regulation? Is that tied to the fine thing, or?
It loosely, because we really didn't have anything formally that describe nuisances, but in my conversations with Cheryl Sabara, we have great latitude
Right.
to call something a nuisance. So, right, we can call it the guinea incident, we can call noise a nuisance, we
But
can
you
call
know,
somebody that's picking up trash, we can call it, so,
Right.
but we have great latitude, I think, just to
But if
write a
you-
letter that says, you know,
If we go back to the guinea hens, though, when you really think about it, that was one person's complaint that launched that whole thing.
I agree with you.
So if we, you know, and they did bring in letters from all surrounding neighbors that didn't have a problem with it. So, you know, and at that point, we stated that we have to go on the one person who does complain and
Right.
kind of take it from there, but, so I think you'd be able to use some judgment. I mean, what if we get some cranky old guy in here that's unreasonable about his complaint of
Right.
whatever that he perceives as the nuisance, you know?
Yeah, right, no, I agree with you.
Yeah.
So maybe leaving it arbitrary is, some judgment is a good thing. I mean, it, you know, I don't know, the way, but you, but I, in my conversations with Brad, whatever his name was at, the Farm Bureau, I told him that, I don't know if you were here at that meeting or not, but, you know, that we had one complaint and we had 4 neighbors and 7 signatures, so there were multiple signatures and sometimes in each residence, in a petition saying that they, didn't mind the guinea hens, and in fact, quite liked the guinea hens. And I told him it was only one neighbor that complained, and he said, your duty is to honor the one complaint.
Okay,
So,
that's what-
so
okay.
and that was right from Brad, I forget what his last
Right.
name is.
And we can do that.
Yeah, we can do
until
that,
get
but you're
to-
right,
It doesn't mean that they're always gonna win either on
No.
that nuisance thing,
Mm.
okay? I'm good with that. Reflexology,
I gave you guys all, last time, the whole reg on that.
I didn't.
we did?
Point you in the black hole,
I
Judy.
did.
See the black hole. You're gonna.
For your review.
For our review, let's-
I think I said beach reading, yeah.
Beach reading. I didn't do any beach reading. You know, you're right. You did say beach reading. I remember that now.
Oh, yeah.
We're bad. We're bad. Judy does all this
Diane, I
stuff.
don't think you were here, so.
You're off the hook. I'm sure that you memorized this, so,
I haven't read
Did
it
you
myself, actually, Shopify, no.
so, I'm sorry about that. So my question is, would, we have to kinda go through all of it and see if it's something that we wanna.
I mean, does the state have regulations
I
for?
think
That's what it is, right? I mean,
Cheryl's like that.
the easy way out of some of this, and I think some of these towns are starting to do this now with the whole marijuana thing, is just adopt the state stuff, right? We can always be more restrictive than the state, we can never be less. And initially just adopt, that might be one option, I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but it might be the one option, is just to adopt the state regs, and then as we gain experience, I don't know, maybe we change stuff or something, I don't know, just an idea.
These aren't state regs though, these are just like,
Right, those are another town.
just other
That's
towns.
one of the town,
Yeah.
Charles, that is. That's actually true.
I would tend to kinda wait for the state to come across something and try to make up our own or copy someone else's. Unless we become known as the reflexology haven of Massachusetts.
Everybody comes to us.
Because of our lax views.
Awesome.
I think Cheryl's thought was it's an emerging business and we were reviewing regulations and she wanted that one to get in with the mix, if you're gonna have to have a public hearing
Well,
and
we-
redo regulations, she
Well,
thought it was a good time to add that one in.
regs we can, well, let me see, bylaws need to go before the bylaw committee and the select. Cause we changed a bunch of bylaws to regs years ago,
Yeah.
remember that?
Oh, yeah, you don't have to have a public hearing.
Because I don't think we need a public hearing for regs, I think we just
No.
adopt them, I think we just make a motion, I think I'll talk, maybe you feel you talk, I think regs,
Yeah, you can just adopt.
I think you just adopt regs, bylaws,
That's a
bylaw
public
committee,
hearing.
selectmen,
Right.
and fine schedules. I think need to go, any fines need to go before the board of selectmen to get approved by the committee. But I think regs, we can just
Yeah, and
adopt,
if
we just
they're
make
on
them up,
it,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Do you see any problems with, potential problems with reflexology down the road where we say, crap, we wish we had at least taken a look at?
I have no idea.
I have no idea either.
I have no idea about it.
Quite a bit involved in this.
This is too much, yeah.
Yeah, there is.
The application from the department, applicant shall answer questions, for a year. Certified copy of the birth certificate, high school diploma,
Oh,
effectively speak English, I
Oh,
mean,
he uses a bedroom.
kinda-
This is-
That's kinda, yeah.
This is quite involved.
yeah. Did you send this to us online too? Or was this
I
for
don't
here?
think so.
Well, that's why I can't take anything home, that's why I didn't take it home and study it.
I have no excuse.
All right,
Um,
I'm not in the mood to do a whole reflexology.
No, no,
But I mean,
I don't think we're prepared, I'm
I
certainly
would-
not prepared enough.
I would think we could probably at least look into, or at least keep our eyes open for whether or not the state comes down with something, cause they
Right.
usually don't miss too much.
That would be a good starting point,
Yeah.
at a minimum.
All right, what's up with TC and water?
No,
TC,
we just keep that on there because it's an open, issue. but
Okay.
There's really nothing going on.
all right. And, other business not anticipated.
Next meeting date?
25th?
25th. Right now, I'm not gonna be here, but I'll try to change my schedule, so right now I'm working in the middle of the trip. I'll do my best to
I won't be
smooth it.
here either.
Okay, it's 2 down. I guess I don't know where the dates are available, if any.
You wanna look at, the 26th, the Wednesday, or do we have, if we have enough people, we can do it without, we just need 3 people, right? How about that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
I
there a
can
problem
send
with
out an
doing it on
email.
the 26th, the Wednesday? Or
I
does it
don't
have to be a
problem with
Tuesday?
that. Nope.
If the room is available, I have to check with, make sure there's.
You wanna make sure,
availability.
how about the 26th, and make sure the room's available?
You all can do the
I
26th?
can't do the 26th either, I don't get back till midnight on
So now we're
26th.
down to 2 again.
Well, I can make that.
He can make it.
I can make,
I only have you and Diane, that's
We
not
don't know
enough.
about the other.
So I'd have to check with the
oh,
others.
yeah.
Just send an email on while your spare time.
Isn't that wise guy?
Let's just jump into it and shoot it.
She's gotta come over that desk one of these
Yeah,
days.
she is, that's all right. I
Make a motion to adjourn.
second,
Done.
done. Excellent.
Thank you.